squat program. This is a program targeted at advanced lifters. Its aim is to increase the 1 rep max of the squat by 5% in just 6 weeks. Basically, if you can squat 100 kilos, this program aims to take that to 105 within 6 weeks. In the first 3 weeks, you're working with loads 80% of your 1 rep max. If you can lift 100, this would be 80 kilos. Most of the sessions are 6 sets of 2 reps, or quote unquote back off days. The volume, however, does go as high as 6 sets of 6. In the second 3-week period, you're working with loads 80 to 105% of the 1 rep max. So heavier loads for lower volume. The program was created by Russian sports scientists in the 1970s. They tested it on over 100 athletes and masters of sport over a period of 7 years. I've spent the past 7 months focusing on powerlifting. The squat was by far my weakest out of the big 3 compound lifts. The squat, I'd say without a doubt, is the most demanding technically. When I started, I was 65 kilos and I had trouble squatting 70 kilos clean. I've put loads of work into technique and building up strength. Over the past 7 months, I've increased this to 100 kilos, meaning I've had a squat increase of 30 kilos or just over 65 pounds. I wanted to try this challenge, see how much I can increase my squat with deliberate intention. Over the next 6 weeks, I'll be working diligently to improve my squat and try and get a bigger squat as possible.
Кай, хочешь я донесу тебя до спортзала?
Да. Here I'm preparing for my first session, which is 6 sets of 2 reps with 80% of your 1 rep max. I was trying to get good depth on the squat whilst also keeping my form strict. That session was super difficult. Doing 6 sets is a lot, but it's also working with very heavy weight. I'd usually do 5x5, but it would be a lighter weight, so it wouldn't seem as bad. It's super challenging right now, but that's what we want. I've just got to have faith in the program. Here's the second session I did. To recover, I took 3 days in between this and the last session. Between each of these workouts, you only have between 2 and 3 days to recover. I took 3 days because there's an increase in intensity and I wanted to be able to push myself as much as possible. This session was at the end of week 2 and was 6 sets of 5. There's a big variance of intensity in this program. The volume of this day is 2.5 times that of the back off days. A lot of the first 2 weeks is just learning the intensity of the squat and how to really push yourself. So I only managed to get 3 sets out of 6 because my back really started hurting, but I did what I could. There's no point trying to hurt yourself. After that I did leg extensions, so at least I got something. On some of the previous days I wanted to increase the weight because I found it too easy, but there's so much volume in this program, it's important to have those lighter days so you get your recovery that you need. Light work, baby. This is 18 right here. Reps.
Is this a new workout?
It's week 3 and the session that I'm going to do today is the highest volume out of all the sets in the entire program. It's 80 kilos, 6x6. It's going to be a good 30 minutes just of squatting, and before this program I could only do about 3 or 4 reps, so doing 6 sets of 6 is a big jump, and if I find it easy or easier, it's going to show the progress, how much I've made during the program. Like I said, at the start of the program doing 6 sets of 2 was intense. This volume is literally 3 times that. It was harder to go all the way to the bottom with the squat, but I still tried to keep my form tight. After the 3rd week, I wanted to see where I was at, and I also wanted to take a bit of a break away from squatting so regularly. I gave myself enough time to recover, and then I retested my 1 rep max squat. I started off with 100 kilos, which is the same as my previous PB. I then went for a new PB, which was 102.5. This rep was very hard to get and my form broke down a little. You can see my hips rising very fast as I reach a sticking point. You also notice my knees caving towards the midline of my body, something called knee valgus. Before going forward with heavier weight, I wanted to correct my form. To fix knee valgus, you need to strengthen your hip abductor muscles, which pull your legs outwards. You also need to stretch your adductor muscles, which I started doing at the end of every session. As well as this, I wanted to strengthen my hip flexors so I could stabilize my knees better. I started doing these at the end of every session and it made my squatting more comfortable. At the start, 6 sets of 2 was so fatiguing, and by the end of it, my legs felt like lead, but now it feels like a walk in the park. And doing 6 reps of a weight and then going back down to 2 just makes it feel so much easier, and it also shows you the importance of frequency. On weeks 4 and 5, I felt stronger, and the rest did me well. Here's me on week 5 doing a 3x3 for 95 kilos. As you can tell by the squeezing and tightening of my glutes from this angle, it's intense. So that weight moved a lot easier today, and I love the fact that now we're only doing 3 sets because 6 sets can get really exhausting. So you have way more power in the tank. I'm feeling good, and next week I'm going to be hitting that PB of 105. So 6 weeks have passed, and now we can talk about the program. First question we gotta ask, did this program work? The answer is yes, it did exactly what it said it would. It increased my strength, and more importantly, it got me better at squatting. I was doing it so much I got used to the movement and the technique. So would I recommend this for you to try? Well, it depends. There was so much load being put on the glutes and the lower back that I had to completely stop deadlifts and other exercises that caused too much stress. It wasn't just high frequency, it was also a lot of volume because of all the weight that I was lifting. If you did want to squat or do any other movement this regularly, you'd have to drop the weight to make it more sustainable. Overall, this probably isn't the best way to train. Because you're putting so much emphasis into this one movement, all the other movements will have less priority. However, if it's a massive focus for you or you're trying to learn the movement, I think it's great. The same could apply to deadlift and bench press. If you're going for a big PR or trying to get better, doing these 3 times a week is definitely a way to get stronger and more comfortable. Below you'll find my free workout plan, my email list for daily tips, and also my online coaching and other products. Subscribe to avoid being put in the gulag. I'll see you in the next one. Bow.